Hi, I'm Norm. I'm part of the AV design group. And one of the questions we get asked a lot is like, what's involved in installing volume controls for speakers? So what we're going to do today is take and we're going to put in, just like the electrician did, the very first thing when he got onto the job site was that he went through and nailed up all his boxes. Unlike electrical wiring, which is totally cool getting crunched up back in a box, speaker wiring, stuff like that, not a good idea. You want it so that the wiring can flow back in and just hang down and it's loose, so you can pull it back out. So when you're going to actually physically install this, one of the keys is that you want the low voltage box, this to be the same height off the floor. So what you do when you're measuring, just happen to have a tape measure here. So ideally, these boxes are 48 inches off the floor. You measure to the bottom hole here, not to whatever, because these come in different sizes and thicknesses, and you want to measure to the bottom hole. And I've already measured it over here, so this one is here. So typically a volume control has a single cable with 4 conductors coming into it, and then leaving the volume control is still 4 conductors, but it's 2 cables, each with 2 conductors. The reason why you run the 4 in from below and the 2 out going up is just like the electrician did. He ran from his fuse panel, his wire to the light switch, and then from the light switch it goes up to the light. So the power flows in, flows out. Signal flows in, flows out. So this is a 16 gauge 4 conductor cable that is in-wall rated. And how you can tell that it's in-wall rated is they'll be printing on the outside of the jacket and it'll have the letters on there, CL2 or CL3. That is saying that this wire is designed to go in the wall. It is designed so that it does not pick up any noise, 60 cycle hum, from electrical wiring. So ideally when you're running wiring, especially after the electrician's already finished, you want at least 12 inches of air gap, but as long as, like these studs are 16 on center, if you're running speaker wire and you've got a Romex wire, which is what electrical wire is called here, don't run your speaker wire here. You want to be the next stud away. Totally cool to take speaker wire. You can have it crossed perpendicular, do it all day long, but you just don't want to run them with it. So make sure you're 1 stud over. So in this particular case, we've cheated. Imagine that we've got the 16 gauge 4 conductor wire running from wherever the amp location is, and we're running it up. Imagine just coming out of the hole here. So here. So see how the wire can still be moved? All you're doing is keeping the wire in place. You can actually still move the wire up and down. So here. So this is the 4 conductor wire coming from wherever your amp location is. And in this particular case, imagine that you've got like 2 wall speakers or 2 speakers in the ceiling. So here, as you can tell, we so cleverly pre-drilled the holes. So we've got 4 conductors coming in from the bottom, and that goes into the volume control. Then we've got 4 conductors going out of 2 different cables, one going to the left speaker, one going to the right speaker. And we're going to do the same thing here. And with 16 gauge 2 conductor, you can use 1 staple for 2 of the wires. Do here. So the wires are snug. I can still move the wires up and down. And I've got a good, in this case, a good foot, good 10 inches here. That's plenty for what we're going to do here. So you repeat the same process wherever throughout the house. So if you have 4 volume controls, just for example, back at wherever your receiver is or wherever your amplifier is, whatever like that, you want to have 4 cables, each with 4 conductors. And then each volume control will have one 4-conductor and then 2 cables, each with 2 conductors running to the speakers that are in the room. So weeks, months later, sheetrock crew comes in, they put the sheetrock up, and we're actually going to do that now. Now the sheetrock crew, because they'll see all the loose wires, they'll actually just feed it through. They'll have already cut it, feed it through. There you go. So go ahead and so you've got wires here. What's interesting is when you walk up to it, it's pretty tough to tell which wire is which. So if you just look at the end of it, you can go, well, that's got 4 wires. If you need glasses like I do, let's do that. Yes, one of the advantages of getting older. So the other way you can tell is that if you took all the wires, the ones that are coming from above, you know that they're going to the speakers. The one coming from below, you know, is coming from the amp. So here, let me show you a neat technique. Handy utility knife, fresh new blade. Do not do this with a dull blade. This is a really neat trick. If you take the wire, just like I'm doing right here, see I'm pinching a little bit, and if you do it like that, see where I've gone, it just makes for a nice, like a hook. And you take a fresh new blade and you just lay it on there. You're not even, there's no sawing. You're literally just laying it on there and you're going like this. Back and forth one time. Blade back. You can actually grab it, pull it off, and it's a nice clean cut where you've only cut the jacket. You haven't cut any of the individual wires. So there. Volume controls have an in and an out. And most of the volume controls, if you look at it closely, you'll actually see where it says amplifier on one side and then the other side says speakers. The other reason why they do it this particular way is that the amp part is on the bottom. Remember how the wire coming from the amp is coming from the bottom? It'll go into here, and out of the top of the volume control, it goes on up. So it just flows in and out. So here, let's see if I can show you this. There you go. So I just learned today that this is called a Phoenix connector. And it can only go on one way, so you can't screw it up. This is what the speaker wires hook to. So here, and here. So there are 4 inputs here, and they're labeled left positive, negative, then negative, and then positive. So the positives go on the outside, the negatives go on the inside. And these click into position. There you go. So one of the things that's interesting is with the 4-conductor cable, there's 4 colors, black, red, but the 2 additional colors are green and white. So what we're going to do here is we're going to strip the wire, we're going to insert it. Once you have it there, then this pops down, and now that, and I'm actually really pulling on it. It's pretty tough to get it pulled out. Done correctly, these are pretty strong connectors. So we're going to repeat. So remember how on the Phoenix connector, it's got right positive, the 2 negatives together, and then the left positive. So what'll happen is that red's right, goes into, it's the only metal that's on the whole thing. It pops down. So black goes with red. And then you've only got 2 wires remaining. And one is white and one is green. So dark is usually the negative. And so it pops here. And the white is the left positive. There you go. So now, amplifier, 4-conductor coming from the amplifier. Notice I keep saying 4 conductor coming from the amplifier. It's pretty important. There we go. Again, flat blade. And you can hear them that they'll click into place. So we're going to do the same thing. This is the one going to the left speaker. This is the second cable with 2 conductors going to the right speaker. So we're going to do the same thing. Now this 2-conductor wire also had a paper insulation around it. 2-conductor wire, because there's only 2 conductors, the wire tends to flatten out, the jacket tends to flatten out. So they'll put in what's called runners. So these are literally just round plastic. This goes like this. And this goes like this. And strip. And here. And we're going to do the same thing on this one. Right. Right, negative. Second negative. Pretty important to make sure that the wire, the 4-conductor coming from the amp goes into the where it says amplifier. And it can only hook up one way. You can't screw it up. So all we're going to do is just push the speaker wires in there. So here, let's get the reason why these screws are so long is that sometimes if you're doing not sheetrock or using 2 layers of sheetrock for soundproofing, or you're using wood or something like that where it's much thicker, the screws are long enough to still reach the box. Here and here, and it just snaps into place, and it's got a little bit of play in it, and then it actually is labeled top, and there's a reason for that, and I'll show you in a minute. So this goes here. Let's see if this will work. And the reason why they did it this particular way is so that, and this also has arrows pointing to the top. Top goes on first, that goes on the bottom. And on the volume knob itself, it's not a full circle. It actually is flattened on one side. And then on the volume control, it's also got flat, and you just match flat to flat. Here you go. And the reason why they do that is so that you can see, like that's wide open, you know, the 5 o'clock position, and 7 o'clock position, no sound at all. So one of the things you want to do is, you've just got the volume control installed, make sure you crank the volume all the way open, or it'll be pointing to the 5 o'clock position. The reason why you want to do that is that when you're initially installing the amp, setting the volume level, stuff like that, on the amp, take the volume level, you know, the volume control on it, and turn it up so the speaker's as loud as you'd ever want it, and you just leave the volume control on the amp alone. Then you can walk up this, turn it down to whatever level you want, or turn it all the way down to 0. What'll happen is that if you have a teenager or somebody outside and they want to crank it all the way up, they can't go any louder than the volume control on the amp is set up. Hope you find this helpful. I'm Norm here. If you got questions, call, email, snail mail. We do that still, and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you very much.